What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Teenage Head. And thank you once again to Yvonne for introducing me to these guys, initially through a cover album by the Vapids, or the Vapids, however you wish to pronounce that, and now through Teenage Head's original material. And we're continuing through Frantic City, 1980, and the next track in the playlist is Somethin Else. So, I'm inclined to interpret this in the common slang phrase, you're something else, meaning you're incredible or you're remarkable. Now, it could be on the negative end of that spectrum, meaning if someone is being ridiculous or absurd, you might say, you're something else. Like, you just don't think the way normal people do, or you're very silly in the way you're talking or acting. But of course, it could be amazing or spectacular. Wow, that is something else. I've never experienced anything like that. Now, it could literally be something else, meaning not this one thing we've been talking about or categorizing. It is something else. But the fact that it's written with a bit of that slang flavor, something apostrophe rather than something, inclines me toward the popular phrase something else, either very good or very bad, or at least remarking upon something's exceptional character in a comedic way. So yeah, let's see what it is in practice. This is Teenage Head. The tune is Something Else. The tune is Something Else, and it's from their 1980 album Frantic City.
It's something else. Hey, look here, just wait and see. I'm gonna look out and see my love. I'll get that comment that I'm on the sofa. Got me like a little driving around. We're looking real sharp with the light top down. I'm keeping out there, thinking to myself, it all comes true, then that's something else. Something else.
It was going to end a couple measures earlier, and it really cranked up the guitars even more, and then eventually came back down one level, and then it finished. But yes, that's got a classic rock and roll flavor, not only in the guitars, but also in the vocals, which almost sound like they're going a bit for an early Elvis style, when he was really like on the popular end of the classic rock and roll, like that 50s rock and roll sound. I will say though, the main riff, and especially in the very opening of the tune, it almost sounded a bit surf rock. It reminded me of that main riff in, what is it, Wipeout? Like one of those famous surf rock tunes. So yeah, overall, it felt more classic rock and roll, again with a little bit of a piano flair at one or two moments. But just that main riff, when especially when it first started, it was like, oh, it's a bit of a surf rock flavor. Oh wait, no, okay, it's more like throwback rock and roll. But I love it. It has that, groovy, we're all having fun type of feel to it. And then lyrically, I think maybe more than one thing here is being referred to as something else. I think a woman is being referred to as something else. I think maybe a car is being referred to as something else. I think maybe an experience or those two things coming together is maybe seen as something else. But it seemed like that refrain of the chorus that kept coming back around, I think there were some different versions of it. So yeah, I mean, again, you can use her or she in relation to a car or something that is not actually a female human. But I think, again, if I heard that correctly, there were a couple different iterations of that, one of which was a woman, but then also a car, maybe one that has its top down. So yeah, ultimately a fun tune. If you like early rock and roll, what's not to like here? And again, I love a group in the 80s when, some different styles of rock were becoming very prominent. I mean, obviously, like, punk rock by that point, punk was already dead, and it was then reinventing itself. And of course, pop rock was a notable genre of the 80s, and, ultimately, this feels like it's deliberately going to a retro vibe, but not in either one of those subgenres. So, yeah, enjoying their variety. And I keep saying that, but it's interesting because going into this particular deep dive, I'm thinking, okay, throwback punk rock. It is throwback, and there has been some punk rock vibes along the way, but there's been a lot more than that, and more vintage rock and roll than I would have expected. So, yeah, I'm enjoying the journey. Thank you again to Yvonne. Let me know what you think of this one, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.